Okay, good evening, everyone. So today's lecture is about the role of composition inside the photography, and I'm going through the lecture made by Golra Photography, the one that I showed you in the last class. You can also visit his page. In the last class, you can go and I have showed his page. So there are a lot of important things on his page. Okay, so the same thing I will be cover inside from his website. His name is Fahad Golra, and he have a website called fahadgolra.com. So you can find all his other materials there, his academic material and other materials here. Okay, so let's start with it now, and let's go and we'll see how we can go with this composition rule. Okay. Now, what is composition? Let's see what Jeff Lawrence and Geoff Lawrence both said about that. Okay. Now, uh, about the Jeff Lawrence and Geoff Lawrence, who are they basically? Uh, they are the entrepreneurs, okay, and they have been uh, working for like many companies. So Jeff Lawrence is basically an entrepreneur, and he's also a technologist and also a philanthropist, okay. uh, and also Geoff Lawrence is uh, also like you can say mainly a photographer, okay. So a very famous photographer, and uh, amazing stuff they have. You can visit their website here. If you can see, this is the website, okay, of Geoff Lawrence, and so many other stuff, so many tutorials, so many things they have on their website, okay. Now, according to Geoff Lawrence, what is composition? What they said about composition. So basically, Jeff Lawrence said, like placing the elements of your picture within the frame and deciding what to leave out is composition. Okay, so what you do is that you add images, okay, or elements, okay, in your picture that becomes your part of the composition. But the one that you don't want, you don't add them in the frame, okay, because those are not basically the part of your composition. So you have to decide what you want to include and what you don't want to include. So what you want to include, you place them in your picture, nicely arrange them, so that's how you will get the good composition. Okay, so that's what the composition is. According to Geoff Lawrence, the biggest difference between a good photograph and a mediocre one is the composition. A mediocre photographer, or you can say a novice like photographer, an amateur photographer, a beginner photographer doesn't know anything about the composition. But a good photographer always take care of the composition. So let's see why composition is really important in photography. Now, before going through in detail, let's see what are the elements, okay, of design that can make a good photograph. So these elements of design are not only for the design purposes, they can be used inside your photography. Line, space, color, shape or form, or texture. They are used in design, but they are also heavily used in photography. So let's see. Here we have like space. Okay, so first design element that we will see about is the space. What does space give you? Space give you emptiness. Okay, a whole empty area. So that's the emptiness, the something that have absence of anything. That is the emptiness. Overlapping. when there are two or three things overlapping each other due to less space. Okay, then shadow. Shadow means you have a huge space over there, emptiness over there, but shadow is basically balancing that space symmetrically or asymmetrically. Perspective, the way you're looking at the picture. Okay, that's the perspective. You can easily make your own perspective when you're looking at it. Now, let's see in terms of photography how the space is so you can understand more. Now, here, if you will see, there is a good space all over the place. First of all, there is emptiness, means it is not cluttered. Things can be seen nicely without getting distracted. Okay. Other thing is overlapping. They have overlapping stuff over here. Things are on top of each other. They are mixed. Okay, but they are not distracting. Shadow. There are shadows of things you can see. Okay, producing shadows so that it doesn't make the image, okay, too empty. The emptiness over here is basically filled with a shadow. So there is emptiness, but there is no bad emptiness, means like a shadow is kind of balancing the emptiness here. Then you have perspective. If you can see that, we can easily guess from which angle we are looking at this picture. Okay, so very nicely done picture, and you can easily see how the things are being placed over here. Now let's move to the other picture. Now both pictures are taken by Yuji Sogawa. Okay, now this is aerial shot. You can see a lot of space, emptiness you can see, overlapping you can see. Okay, things are next to each other. Plus you can see the shadow. Okay, so and also you can see more like of the like a balance over here. Okay, now in this image you have like smaller shadows, you have overlapping going on, you have emptiness going on, and you have a good perspective here. If you will see, you know which direction you're looking at. Okay, this is what space gives you. Okay, it makes your like the visual more appealing, and you know which angle you are looking at. Now here again, if you will look at, there is a space over here. Okay, there is emptiness, there is a shadow here. Okay, overlapping items. Okay, plus there is a perspective, you know from which angle you are looking at. So this is what space is. If your image does not have a space, it will look cluttered, means it will look too congested, and it will be hard to visualize. It will be hard for a person to see and guess what they are looking at. Okay, are they looking at like a building, or are they looking at the people? Where they have to look? Do they have to look at the people, or do they have to look at the building? So they will be confused. There will be no center of attraction. To produce a center of attraction, you should have a space. Okay. Now we have here line. Now what does a line do? Okay. Line basically is about uh, connections. Okay. Uh, in real life, what is a line? Line is something that you draw. Okay, like a mark going from point A to point B, like a straight mark or wavy mark, or curly mark, but like an open like mark from A to B. Now in photography, what does that line do? That mark do? It connects 2 points. Okay, it gives orientation, means like, is it, do we have to look 90 degrees, do we have to look 60 degrees, where is the angle, so orientation of that. Okay, curves, it can make curves in the line, so there is a rhythm, a flowing rhythm, a flow. Okay, a form, something like that. Now how we see the lines, if you look at this image, where do you see the line? These are the lines. Okay, so these are the lines which is giving you what are basically lines, why they are lines here in the image. In the image, the photographer took this photograph of lines so that a person like me or you or whoever looking at the image can look at the lines as a connecting point, and the connecting point is helping your eyes to follow the direction and leading to where the photographer wants you to see. When I looked at the image, I first looked at these lines. And when I looked at the lines, it's helping me, my eyes, to follow the direction of the line and taking me to this area. So actually, the photographer wants me to see this, but how he helping me to see this part? He's helping me to see this part is through the lines. I look at the lines, my eyes move from down to the top area, and I can look at it. So connecting points. Lines in the photographs are just like a path, a path to your eyes. So your eyes can follow that path and reach to the destination. Okay. Here as well, you can see there are lines, perspective lines to guide you to show you where is the perspective of like what is the angle, what is the orientation. Okay. And then it shows you where you have to look at. Okay. So for this purpose, here it's making a perspective with the help of the orientation, and you can see how it's making the angles here, and you know where you are guiding, your eyes are guiding to, your eyes are guiding towards here, a nice perspective pulling your eyes to this area. Okay, and your eyes are going directly here inside. Okay, because it's basically guiding you to go there. Here as well, you can see that the lines are very easily guiding you to where to look at. Okay, because it's a natural person's intentions. Whenever he looks at the line, he tries to follow those lines. Okay, and when he follows, he gets to the destination where the photographer wants you to see. Here, this is the same image we saw in the last class. You can see the lines here. Okay, also you can see lines here. So these lines are dividing these buildings, and these lines are creating the perspective guiding you from this angle to this angle. Here as well down you have lines. Okay, so lines are really important whenever you're guiding. Now lines can be curves also. You can see that these are lines and they are making a curve. Okay, so you can follow easily this path, and it's making a division here. Here line is making a creative division between these like this bridge, one is here, one is here, a nice symmetrical division. Now let's move to the shape and form. Now shape and form can be you can say it can be an or like a geometrical shape, okay, which is mechanical shapes, or organic shapes, which is a real life shapes like mechanical shapes or geometrical shapes are like square, triangle, or ellipse. Organic shapes are like fruit shapes, shape of a person's face, okay, shape of a flower. So those are organic. 3D shapes like cube is a 3D shape, but 2D is this like a square is a 2D shape, cube is a 3D shape. So just like that. Okay, triangle is a 2D shape, but pyramid or cone is a 3D shape. Okay, now let's see over here shapes. Here then it is also creating a shape. Okay, and you can see this part as a shape. Then here it's creating this shape. How they are creating shapes? The thing is that they are so dark in contrast that they are creating a shape, because what we look at is here, here, and in the middle is a dark part which is creating a different kind of like a shape, like a dark shape. Okay, so our eyes goes over there and it looks like a shape because there is no detail. It's becoming a silhouette. Silhouette means something against the light, and it seems to be a flat dark surface. Here it's flat dark surface, so it is creating a shape. Okay, okay, so here as it is getting a shape form of a human body. Now other thing here is the color. Now what is a color? Color can be a saturation, hue. Okay, what is the saturation? The saturation of a color is like a amount of color that you have. Okay, if you will remove the color from like something, so what will happen? That thing will start becoming black and white. Okay, suppose I have an image of a red tomato. If I will take out the red color out of it, keep on taking the red color out of it, so what will happen? That tomato will become black and white. So what is the saturation? Is the amount of color. But if I will keep on putting red, so red will be little dull. If I'll put more red, it will become little bit brighter red, more brighter, more brighter, more, and then there will be a very high saturated, shocking neon red tomato. If I will add a lot of red to it, okay. But if I will remove it, will become black and white. Now we have here hue. Hue is also known as the name of the color. Okay, like what are hues? All these red, blue, green, all the colors are hues basically. Okay, so there is a strip of colors where you have different colors. That is hue. Brightness. Brightness means like, do you have like a blue color, and if you make it brighter, what will happen? It will become like a sky blue. Okay, if I have a red color, if I will make the red color brighter, it will become pink. Okay, consistency. Okay, consistency of the color is like, I have red, pink is a part of it. It's a family of a red color. Maroon is a family of red color. Okay, so these are consistency. You can use the same color to create a consistent image, consistent outcome. Contrast. Contrast is basically how dark or light the color is. If I will increase the contrast or decrease the contrast, it will change the darkness of that color. Okay, so value of that color, basically the value of color. Now here, if you will see an image where you can see a lot of color, so you can see color on her face, so that is basically actual colors. But if you will see an image of her without the color on her face, we cannot guess which color we are talking about. Okay, this is a colorful image. This is a colorful image. Colorful image, what we have? Red, we have green. Okay, we have other colors. This is a colorful image because we can see a person from here and he have red tones, he have yellow tones. Okay, so there is no ordinary color. The image have two tones, yellow and red, but actually they are not a monochromatic tone, they are colorful tones. Usually an image, when you see from, you realize it does not look like this, but as you are doing a creative part, you are changing a normal image to a colorful image, then it will give like you can say not an ordinary like color tone, something like a different unique color tone. So that is also a creative part. Like sometimes you might see some images which are purple, blue tone. Okay, like a kind of duotone images. Okay, so duotones is basically kind of a creative part. Okay, so that creative part is basically like a color. Okay, for example, if you will see over here, I have the duotone colors. So here you will see that there are only two colors. Okay, but this can be considered as good color outcome photograph. Okay, so this is basically a like a duo color effect. Okay, so same thing is here. Naturally, it is like that. It's not a photoshopped image taken while the lights there were red and yellow. That's how they got the color. It's nothing like they have changed the colors in Photoshop. Okay. Now, when you don't have colors in the image, here do you have colors? You don't have colors. Okay, it's black and white. But the in After Effects, what did the artist did? He added a sepia tone. There is a tone which is called sepia, which gives you brownish type of tone. So it will not stay black and white. There should be a little color. So for that purpose, he made it sepia. Okay. So there is a color there, but it's monochromatic, means there is not so much variety of colors here. This is, you can say, like selective color. Most of the part here are low saturated, that you cannot see colors clearly, almost black and white, but only her sweater is more colorful. Okay, the reason is that because this color is selective and its saturation has been increased. So selective color, you can view that. So this is to highlight something. Okay, so when you do this in Photoshop to highlight something. Okay, now let's move to the texture. Texture is something that give you a surface. Surface mean like a like an area, okay, or something that you can touch or you can guess what it is made out of. Is it made out of wood? It is made out of like foam. Is it made out of metal? So that's a surface. Feel, okay. Texture will give you a feel. Suppose if you see an image of a flower, or maybe like an image of a cat with a long hair, so suddenly you will start feeling the hair of the cat in your hands if the photograph is really good, because the texture is well photographed. Pattern, pattern also, like the shirts, the clothes you wear, there are patterns on the shirts, like design, flower design, or different kind of checker design. Those are patterns to make, tiled sort of design. So let's see texture here. Now here there is a food texture. So you see this texture of this like a rice over here is creating a sort of texture which is letting you feel that it might, feel soft if you will touch it. Okay, so texture in food, and you have a texture of this raw meat. Okay, maybe if I will touch it, it will be little softer. Maybe I will touch the peas, they will be little harder. So these kind of textures. Here it's giving you a feeling that it is made of a rock and it is hard. If I will touch it, it will feel like I'm touching the stone. Okay, here as well it is creating a pattern. Pattern of what? There are these bones. Okay, so these bones are placed on top of each other. Okay, so these are creating a nice pattern. Okay, so this is what it is. Is it clear, everyone? Any questions so far? Please let me know. Clear? So let's move to the other part. Now let's start with the composition part 2. Part 1 is finished. Now let's start with the part 2. Okay, now let's recap what we have studied. We have studied all the elements of the design used in the photography: line, space, color, shape, form, and texture. Okay, now we will go through the elements and the principle of design. Elements we know now what are those: line, shape, form, color, space, and texture. Now we will see principles. Principles are basically what? Principles are like rules. Rules that we apply on the elements that you just studied. Okay, so the rules that you applied on the elements, and then those elements join together with those principles and create something out of it. Okay, so how it works? There are elements, you put your principles on that those elements, and once you put those principles like on those elements will start making sense, because without principles those elements will not make sense. Nobody knows what they are looking at. So once you apply principles on it, rules on it, then people will start like getting it, what they're looking at it, and starts making sense. Okay, so that's what the principles are. So one example is that, suppose there is a car. Okay, what are the elements of car? steering wheel, gearbox, wheels, seats. These are the elements of car. But if you don't know the principles of car, what are the principles of car? How to drive, how to start the car, how to use the gear, how to use the clutch, how to press the accelerator. Okay, if you don't know the principles of a car, then how you can drive a car? So elements are there, but you have to apply principles to make sense. So that's an example of principles of design. So here we will see how we can apply those principles of design using elements in photography. So once we know the elements of design, we can make photographs. Some principles can help us make them visually appealing. Okay, so when you know the elements, you can add them. But if you want to make them attractive, you have to apply principles. Okay, so let's see. There are these principles, usually six, and what are they? Scale, hierarchy, similarity, contrast. Similarity, contrast is the same part. Unity, harmony. Okay, emphasis and balance. Okay, now let's see unity, harmony. Okay, in unity, harmony, let's see. We have first thing is perspective. Okay, unity and harmony is what? Unity is when things are joined together to create something. Okay, when you put two things next to each other, that is unity. Okay, and harmony is what? When those two things are making sense, that is the harmony. Okay, they belongs to each other, that is the harmony. Now in unity and harmony there is perspective. Now what is the perspective? Perspective is, here you can see that it's a sense of distance between the elements. Okay, now when I see this, I will see this part, then automatically I will guess how much distance between these pillars are. In looking at this image, it looks like they are very close to each other. There is a very strong unity, harmony there. But because of harmony, like there is, it will give me a feeling that there is a strong unity there. Everything is joined together. But harmony will help me to understand there is a perspective. And what is a perspective? It is a sense of distance. It will guide me and tell me there is a distance between each pillar. They are not next to each other, because this illusion is not in reality. There is a space there. Okay, so that the perspective will show me. Okay, now here again you will see that there is a unity. Things are next to each other, but harmony is giving me what? They are not equal. They are little different, but they belongs to each other. Okay, in unity and harmony there is a similarity. Okay, things are next to each other, joined together. Okay, but there is a similarity here. Similarity means what? Something which is repeatable, okay, yet different. Okay, means like they are not same, exactly same, but they look same, but at the same time they have a little difference. They all are wearing same thing, suit, but they are not wearing same color suit. They are wearing glasses, but their size of glasses are not same. They are wearing hats, but they are not same person. So there is something similar, but there is also something different. So this is what the unity and harmony is doing. Harmony is helping you to connect same thing, okay, exact same thing, but harmony is unity is doing what? Connecting same things. Harmony is doing what? Keeping a difference over there so that can be balanced. Okay, clear? Now here there is a unity. All the fruits are there. Okay, next to place to each other. Harmony is what? Telling us that there is an apple, there is an orange. So there is a difference. Okay, but they are fruits, but they are not same fruits. So this is what harmony is telling us. Okay, now there is one more thing in the unity and harmony, which is known as the continuation, the sense of having a line or pattern extended. Here what it is, unity tells us there is something going on and on and on and on and on again, but harmony tells us that something that which is continuous have an end, but it is extended. Okay. Otherwise, if you don't have a harmony, then it will look like it's continued. I don't have an end, so it will be hard for me to sense anything. Okay. And here you can see there is a path going all the way back, but the amount like Unity is showing me there is no the line is continuing, the road is continuation, it's continued all the way back. But Harmony is telling me there is an end. The mountains there shows me there is an end over there, and things will finish over, my vision will be ended over there. Okay. Now, repetition. Okay. Now here there is a difference. This is similarity. Similarity basically is something same, but at the same time there is a little difference. Otherwise, if they were completely 100% same, so the name should not be similarity. The name should be maybe duplication or identical object. But similarity means they look little same, but there is a difference. Okay. Repetition is what? Element being mimicked or copied many times. This is opposite of similarity. Here you put items they looks like they are copied. They are repeating. Okay. They are apple with a stick inside. Apple with a stick. Apple with a stick. Okay. So it's not like I have apple, orange, strawberry and sticks. It's all apple and they all are green apple. Okay. But to break the repetition, maybe there are some left and right. Okay. Which is not a big deal like in the repetition. Okay. They all are repeating this is rhythm. Okay. What is like rhythm? Repetition, like there is a repeat and repetition there is also a rhythm. Okay. They don't look bad. Why? Because there is a rhythm. This is repeating, but they are repeating in a nice way. So that is called rhythm. Okay. Now, balance. What is a balance basically? This is now we have moved from unity, harmony to balance. Balance is equalized tension and equilibrium. Something that you try to keep same on both ends. Okay, left and right, top or bottom. Okay, as like same or little bit with some kind of uniqueness. That is balance. When you try to make two sides of two opposite sides same, so that is the balance. Okay. Now here we have symmetry. Symmetrical balance means both sides look same. Tower here, clouds here, clouds here. Okay, that's a symmetrical sort of balance. Okay, here there is a symmetrical balance. Okay, trees over here, trees over here. Okay, so what you do, you make an imaginary line, straight line over here, and then you try to balance that line. Okay. Now, here we have asymmetrical balance. Asymmetrical balance means it's not balanced same on the both sides. They are different, like there is a difference on both sides. Okay. Now they still look balanced. How? There is a thick circle here, but there are two thin circles here. The size here is small. Here there is a small thin circle and bigger thin circle. So two thin circle and one small thick circle can balance. How? Suppose I have an iron on one end, and then I have 100 strawberries on the other hand. Now iron is very heavy. Okay, so I cannot balance one iron with one strawberry. So I have to bring a lot of strawberries. So that will balance one iron. So that is the same thing. You have to make a visual weight. It works with the visual weight. If there is something thicker over here, so you can add 2 or 3 thinner things here. Okay. Now here, if I have something like this, okay, here I can balance it with something unique but contrasting with this, like here. Okay. Radial balance is what? It's a balance around something, like going in this direction. Okay, in circular direction is called radial balance. So this is a radial balance going in circle. Okay, here as well is a radial balance. Okay, so hierarchy. Now we are moved from balance to hierarchy. Okay, leading the watcher through the elements in order of significance. What is a hierarchy? Hierarchy is a branch, a tree. You look at something bigger, then you look at something smaller, then more smaller, then more smaller. So whatever is the bigger thing in your image, that is the more important thing, and your eyes go to that place. After that, your eyes go to the little smaller place, then more smaller, then more smaller, then smaller, 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 smaller. Okay, that's hierarchy. Here, our eyes goes where? To this lady. Then it goes to this girl. Then it goes to this girl. Why it goes to this lady? Because she's adult over there with a high contrasted color with it, which is red. That makes her like more prominent. But these two girls are wearing black. Okay. So why my eyes went to this girl next? Why it didn't went to this? The reason is that because one thing is that both are wearing black. Then why my eyes are on her after the lady in the red? After my eyes went from lady into in the red to this girl. Why? Because her height is little taller. Then it went to her because her height is short. Both are wearing black, but my eyes is leading because I see the height here and then height there. Then maybe in the background, because background is blur, I cannot see anything in the background more clear than the things that are in the foreground. Okay, here my eyes goes to this part here because it is in the center and plus it is bigger and they are unique. Others are repeating. Okay, others are repeating, like there are horses, two horses here, two horses here, this guy is here, this guy is here, but these are unique. I don't have any other item like anywhere else these two. So my eyes goes there, then it goes to horses, then it goes to there, then it goes to the background. Okay, so that's what the hierarchy is. It's like a tree where you want the audience, your viewers, to look at first, then they will look at the second part, then third part, then fourth, then keep on looking at it. Okay, now here we have scale and proportion. Now, what is a scale and what is a proportion? Scale is basically size of something. Proportion is that size of two things next to each other. Okay, so using relative size of elements against each other can attract attention to a focal point. So let's see in through the images how it can be done. Now, this is like a small bicycle for kids. Okay, but the way a person took this photograph, it looks like this is huge. Okay, it's creating an illusion that this is huge, maybe a giant sculpture of a bicycle. Okay, so that's how you can make a scale and a proportion. Okay, here uh, this is far away, she is near, so she looks much more bigger than the Pisa Tower. Pisa Tower seems little smaller. So the way she's lay down on the ground with her feet up is making an angle that it feels like she's holding the Pisa Tower. Okay, so lots of tourists do that, especially when they are in Italy and they are in the Pisa. So they do this with the Pisa Tower. You will see a lot of tourists doing this. Okay, now this hen is very close to the camera lens. Okay, so it seems like the hen is very giant. Okay, it's a giant hen compared to the background. Okay, now the person moved his hands next to the lens. Whenever you move things next to the lens, they appears to be bigger. So his hands are getting bigger. Okay, and shows a much more higher scale than his actual body. Hands seems more bigger than his actual body. Okay, so that's what the scale and proportions do. Okay, the size of something. Now we have here dominance and emphasis. Now what is dominance and emphasis? Dominance and emphasis creates a focal point where the most important part is. It can be made through contrasting the sizes, positioning something unique, a different kind of color, a different kind of style, or different kind of shape. So when you have something unique item, a dominant item means like, something which is dominating, or which is basically the boss of the picture. Okay, something which is overriding other parts in the image. So our eyes will directly go over there because that's something unique. So we'll see, okay, what's that? What's this thing? So your eyes will directly go on that spot. So that is the dominance in emphasis. So let's see through the images. Okay. Now, when I see this image, or when you see the image, where your eyes goes directly? Ladybug. Okay. Yeah. So why? Because the background over there, I have water droplets. Okay, I have like uh, same sort of very black and white sort of monochromatic blue color, but this is kind of you can see colorful. So my eyes goes over here because this color is dominating and it is overriding this background color. This background color is not dominating. The ladybug is dominating because of its color. Okay, so you can make a colorful dominance over here. A strong color can be seen first. Okay, size. Everything seems here very like empty over here. There is a space also, space principle, because one more thing, you can use more than one principles in an image. So there is a space over here, but there is a dominance and scale over here. So what is happening? This scale, this bigger thing, is creating a dominance in this contrast, because most of the things are flat contrast, means darker. This is high contrast, as like the color is white, so it is contrasting, it's attracting my attention more. Okay, here the colors are kind of was like similar and very spaced. This is kind of a high contrasting black color, and which is attracting my attention as well. So this is one more thing. Okay, now similarity and contrast, when you play with the similarity and contrast together, okay, this similarity and contrast is not the same similarity that you have in unity and harmony. Unity harmony is a little different. This is basically based on the color, okay, or contrast. So similarity contrast is planning a consistent and similar design or avoiding similarity. Too much similarity can be boring. So when you put a lot of items in your image, you try to break the similarity between them. Okay, suppose you are taking picture of school children who are wearing same uniform, so it will look a little boring. So what you will do, you will ask one child whose height is very tall, so you will ask them to stand between those children. So people, when they will watch, they will see all the children with the same uniform, but suddenly they will see a person like a student who is very tall in the middle. So it will not look boring. Okay, because it is breaking the similarity. Here in this image, I have capsicums. Okay, so I have green capsicums, and also I have the red capsicums. I have the green peppers and the red and the red peppers. If I have all the green, it will not look interesting. It will look boring. Here I have the image bluish, in a bluish tone, but suddenly the leaf she is holding is kind of a reddish tone. So breaking it like a, you can say, uh, contrast here. Okay. Here, this image is a famous image by Steve McCurry, Afghan girl. So you can see there is a similarity of the background here, like a greenish and low saturated, his like her clothes, but her eyes is breaking the contrast. Okay, like the similarity here. Okay, so types of contrast, there are space. Okay, that can be filled or that can be empty, or something near or something far, something 2D-ish or something 3D-ish. So that can be types of contrast here. Okay, in position, you can put something on the left, so balance it with the right. Isolated something or group. You have one item or you have group of items. Okay, center or off center, something not in the center or any other thing. Okay, top or something bottom. So whenever you have these things, you can break it with this, or whenever you have this, you can break it with this. So these are some creative ways to break your similarity by introducing contrast. Okay. So when you want to break a similarity, you introduce a contrast, and this is a type. Complex, so add something simple. There is something ugly, add something beautiful. If there is something broken, add something like complete. Okay. Direction, you can use movement and stability. Structure, you can make it chaotic, which is not right, going left and right, bad directions. Okay, a lot of branches. So you can organize, you can create with an organized structure with nicely well maintained form. Okay, you can add a handmade one, and you can add something which is machine made one. Okay, size, one can be small, other can be large. So these kind of you can add shallow, you can add deep, thin, or fat. In color, you can add a color or black and white, dark, light. Okay, so for example, if you have a colorful image, you can add one. Like if you have a black and white image, grayscale means black and white image. If you have, add something which is colorful to break the similarity. If you have something very light, so add something there dark, so that it will break. Or if the whole image is dark, add something light to break the similarity. And the same in the texture. If you have fine, add coarse. If you have rough, add smooth. If you have sharp, add dull, or vice versa. Okay. Now, is it clear, everyone, about the principles of designs in the photography? Okay. So now we will move to the rules of composition. Now there are two different rules of composition in the photography. So one is the rules of third, and other is the golden ratio. The rule of thirds works when you have an image in a platform like this one. Okay, means like you have a very empty background, and then you have a subject. Now here, what you do when you're taking away, you make one line here, one line, imaginary lines. Okay, in the camera, usually you have mobile camera also have this. So what is this? It is a grid. Okay, in the grid, wherever the grid is intersecting, like this area, this area, this area, this area. So this part or this part is basically the thirds. So that's why this image is called rules of thirds. So whatever your important part in your images, you have to keep that in this area or this area. Thirds, you have to put them in the thirds area. Either left, if your image is on the left, put it here. If your image is on the right, put it here. Okay. Now, rule of golden ratio rule is basically when you have image against any background which also have some images. So here what you do is that you make a rule like a ratio like this, which can be then divided into boxes. You can see these boxes. Okay, so the bigger box means more empty area. This box here means little less like area. This box here means little bit more stuff, then more stuff, then more stuff, then more stuff, and it goes like this kind of a line, like a pattern. Okay, so whenever somebody looks at an image which is following a golden ratio, his eyes will follow the image automatically. From he will see this, oh, what is this, and then goes like this and to the girl. Okay, so simplest route is to avoid the subject in center or extreme corners. Okay, so how you can apply that? Don't take picture of someone who is in the center or who is here very far away or too much here. Okay, now let's see, the simplest rule is to avoid the subject in the center or extreme corners. Let's see how to apply this one. Okay, now if I will go to this image, you will see that this is not right. Okay, because it's in the center. It should not be in the center. It should be somewhere over here where there is an intersection point. So it is here. In this image, it will look like this. So this looks more attractive, more meaningful, rather than this, which looks less attractive. Okay. Now, simplification. Simplification is decrease the content. Try to keep less content on your screen. Okay, not as a lot of things. So here it is simple, white background, and then you have a yellow flower like leaves over there. Simple, nice to see, nice to understand. Okay, and nice to digest visually. Limiting focus. Limiting focus means if you will see all of, there is this sort of a depth of field where every other thing you can see here is out of focus, but only the one that you see here is more in the focus. And what does this do? This helps you to create a focus only on this uh, dove, okay, or a seagull, I think seagull, okay. So your eyes goes directly on her, on this seagull, not the other, because this is one in the focus. So your focus is limited only to this seagull, not the other, okay. Viewpoint. Viewpoint is important. Right now, I'm looking at the dog, and I'm looking this from another dog's viewpoint. Maybe the photo, because you, how the photographer took this image, he maybe bent down to his knees, and then he took the photograph of the dog. And when he took the photograph of the dog, so it was on the eye level of the dog. So it seems like this is a point of view of another dog looking at this dog. Okay, so this is basically position of camera. The viewpoint is the position of camera. Point of view, you can see that. Okay, so here point of view is that the person who's standing down and he's looking at somebody jumping. Okay, now break the rules. Can you break the rules? Yes, you can break the rules if something is interesting, can be made out of it. But don't go beyond like like a, you can say, limited line. Break the rules, but with interest. Okay. Rule of thirds can be broken. See, he's in the middle. He's not on the sides. But this creates a nice symmetry on the both sides, and he's in the center. So this creates a very interesting image. This doesn't breaks the rule and makes the image badly. There is no rule of third, but image still is kind of attractive. Okay, let's see the other image. Shoot into lights. So people usually don't shoot against the light. Light is always opposite side. But if you shoot into light, you will have silhouette. But when you have silhouette, it creates a very nice contrasted image, very nice attractive images. Okay. Now here we have straight horizons. Usually we don't keep like we keep the horizon or the line straight, but you can give a little bit an angle here. This is known as Dutch angle, where your camera is a little bit tilted. So when you take the image with that, it creates a very mystical sort of angle. Okay. Focal point and focus. Now there is no focus here. Okay. If we compare this image, there is a clear focus on this dove. We can at least see this dove, but here there is no focus. We cannot see anything here. Still, it's creating a very nice, abstract form. Okay, it gives us how the motion is, giving us a like a motion feeling. We can sense the motion. We can sense the speed. Okay, so that's the focal point in focus. Then early morning or evening photos. So sometimes you go for early morning photos or evening photos. Early morning photos when you have golden hour. Okay, you have uh, golden light, nice looking golden light. Evening photos also have something like a magenta or purplish sort of light, very nice feeling. Okay, but when you go in between, you will have an afternoon light, which is not that attractive, but still, if you have a nice capture, it can be a very good image. Okay, uh, reverse active space. Now, how should be your space? Whenever you add space, you add the space from the front, like from the front of the person, not at the back of the person. But this photographer added the space at the back of the person, but still it creates a nice effect. The photographer broke the rule, but in a nice way. So it's at the back of the person. Okay, person is facing over there, and there is a space here. But usually you have to put the space in front of the person, not at the back. But here it's acting good. It's creating some sense. Okay. Shoot out of focus. So the person took the photograph of the main person out of focus, but the other person now, who is not the, someone important, is now in the focus. So an interesting result in this way also. Now we have here negative space. Now what is a negative space? Negative space is uh, when you are capturing something which is not too important. This part is not important, but this is more covered rather than this. This is the positive space where you have the important part, where you have the main part, but the negative space is more is more in the, you can say, center of attraction, or it's more covered. So when you covered the non-important area, or the area which is not important, that is known as the negative space. So we have here negative space. When you add a negative space, it also creates a very interesting image. Okay, so anything which is not as important, and you cover it a lot in a more wider field, that is called negative space. Okay, so you can practice these and other parts, okay, of this part of this photography. Okay, so just is it clear? Any question, anyone? Anyone who have question? Clear? Okay. Do one thing. You can take like a 10 minutes break. After 10 minutes, okay, or let's take a 15 minutes break. Okay, you can pray, then you can come back, and then uh, we will go through this, like the second one. Okay, so the second our exercise, the like the second lecture. Okay, I will send you the link on the blackboard. Okay.